Hi, welcome back to S.AD Presents Unhappy Hour. This week in Hugh's Place, we're making a cocktail called the Old Fashioned. I decided that I would do a monologue for efficiency reasons. No, not that I messed up the cocktail many times and had to leave the room several times as well, so it's nothing to do with that at all. Anyways, so, as I said, this week the cocktail is the Old Fashioned. It's a staple, but whilst it appears simple on the surface, as you'll see, has quite a few intricacies to get perfect. But the basic recipe, which I'm going to put on the screen, is 2 double shots of whiskey, 4 dashes of bitters muddled with a sugar cube, and then you want to stir with ice and then pour over bigger ice. But as you can see from my video, the bigger ice actually has to fit the glass as well. So you want to be using proper old-fashioned glasses for this. Anyways, in today's episode, we discuss extreme political views, both radical left and radical right, my history with credit cards, banking, and platinum cards, and whether Lynx is still the best Christmas present. So it's a bit of an interesting episode with a dear friend today. So yeah, I'll let him talk himself, and we'll get into the episode. Let's run the intro. And now for this segment where I introduce my guest for the evening. He is a proud RSA member, local bartender at the Bowls Club, and my good friend and brother, Samuel Madden-Hart. Welcome to the Unhappy Hour.
Thank
Wave
you.
at the camera.
Thanks for having me.
Very professional. Very professional.
Yeah. Gotta, say hi to the audience. Millions of fans.
I told him that in 6 to 18 months he's going to be famous because of going on this show, and he was very skeptical. So Sam, for those of you who don't know him, is like the voice of reason for me. So
yes, the unlistened to voice of reason.
Unlistened to voice. I'm just bad at taking advice. I wouldn't say that I don't listen to you.
Yeah, fair. Okay. Oh,
Cheers,
thanks for that. Cheers.
This is the Old Fashioned, by the way. Ooh, that was good. Yeah, and so today's spirit is the Maker's Mark. I got that because me and Sam used to drink it a lot back in the day. It's something we used to call the whiskey corner. I'd almost call it like the upgraded whiskey corner.
It is, yeah. It's definitely some of the components are, have lived on.
Yeah, artifacts like this was originally in my shitty room, and then we got like the Hughes Place sign that Jamie made. The chair, yes, the chair, the infamous chair. It's fucking it's pretty cool, man. I do like this place.
Shame you don't have that office seat still, but
Fuck off.
Yeah.
I feel like I can't mention that without saying something. When in our younger days, everyone has a drinking.
That's just like deep cuts for the real Hughes Place fans. Like they'll know.
They'll know. Okay. We'll leave it at that, so I don't get fired from my job.
Good call.
So if you don't know, I feel like we should catch up a little bit because I actually haven't seen you in a while. So
true.
I saw on Strava today.
Yes.
You've been cranking some numbers, and you got your first half marathon. Is that right?
Yes, that is correct.
How are you feeling right now?
Very sore.
Very sore.
I was already skeptical to come and sit in this chair, but the sitting is really helping me out right now.
Yeah, I saw you waddling, and I was like, I have to ask.
Yeah, no, but it was good. Got it done.
Yeah. How did it feel? Was it like quite like intense at the end? Like what was the last?
Yeah, it was like pretty good at the start. Like I've done a few 15k runs, which were like pretty chill, and then I kind of always thought, I could probably just add another 6 on, like if I don't go too fast. But it was pretty hot day today. I probably look quite red. For the viewers, but
it's also really hot on here.
It is also quite hot in here. But yeah, no, it was good. Pretty sore at the end. Like it started getting a bit like the last few Ks was a bit rough.
I can't even imagine. Like the longest I've run is 18k, and I literally had to get my sister to pick me up. Like I literally didn't make it home. I was like, my route was so shit that I'd like planned it. So like I ran from my place to town, and then like I ran back through town down the round the bays route, and I got to like the end of round the bays, and I was like, there's just this fat fucking hill on the way home, and I was like, Nah, probably.
That was
not.
pretty similar. Like there was this hill right at the end of the run I did today, and it was grueling.
Right at
It
the
was
end.
pretty slow.
Yeah.
Like I've got one of those running watches that my
that's gangster.
and so like you can kind of see your pace and whatever, and it was like ticking along pretty steady throughout the whole thing. And then it was like jumped up when I was at the bottom of that hill. I was like, oh no.
Yeah, fuck, and you also recently did Round the Bays, is that right? Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. That was pretty good. Did it in 40 minutes and 6 seconds, which I was pretty happy with.
Yeah,
I was
that's pretty fucking good.
trying to go for 40 minutes, so that's a bit annoyed that I missed that. But
I mean, it's pretty much.
yeah. It wasn't 41, so
yeah, exactly.
It was 40 and a bit. But no, that was really cool. That was another really hot run.
How did everyone else from the crew do? Because you did it with like a big team, right?
Yeah, I think there were like 20 of us or something, like probably at least 15. It was really good. My brother Matt, we kind of set off together, and we were at the start line together, and then I got, my eyes are a bit bigger than my stomach, and I started.
Did you, like, boost it at the
I
beginning?
tore off at the beginning because there's another guy in our group called Gurpreet, who I was like, oh yeah, like I sort of know him. I reckon I could probably keep up with him, and he was like, boom, gone, and then. So I was like, oh yeah, I'll just see if I can like keep him in my sight. That would be like a good way to start out. But yeah, he was like gone.
How long did he do it? Was he?
I think he did it in like 38 minutes or something like that. So he was only ended up a couple of minutes faster, but it was definitely
like at the beginning.
He just managed to keep that pace up, I suppose. But yeah, so I was like, oh yeah, I'll give it a nudge at the start, and then that I was going way faster than I'd ever run, and like. Normally I kind of run like, I don't know, like 5:30 or something like that, 5:45, and I was like 4:45, like a minute.
And you only like just
faster.
started getting into running really as well.
Yeah.
From what I can tell.
Yeah, only like a couple of, maybe like a month or two ago.
Yeah, because I never thought I'd see you do something like endurance like that. Like obviously you had the basketball thing, but I thought like beyond that, like you weren't like too much into the.
No, I wasn't. I wasn't really. Like I just kind of wanted to run off some of the beers. It was like try and shave a few kegs, but
yeah, I still remember your birthday was like the one of the last times. I think I was drinking beer. That was like one of the last times I was drinking beer. And man,
do you miss it?
A little bit, yeah. Like I think I'm probably mentioned this before. I'm celiac. I fucking hate having to disclaimer that, but I can't drink beer anymore, and like I do miss it to an extent, but like. It was never my favorite drink, like, so it's like...
Yeah,
not, like,
you weren't, like, the huge beer drinker.
Yeah.
You
but if you found out you were celiac, that would be, like, fucking...
Yeah, that would be an issue,
that would be a fucking problem.
Yeah, that would... I mean, who knows? Maybe I am.
Fucking
just kind of, like, a bit made of stronger stuff than you. No,
yeah,
I
gluten
mean...
intolerant and celiac aren't the same, dog.
Yeah, celiac's, like, way worse, right? But you were eating gluten stuff for, like... years. Well, we lived together,
bro. I literally used to live off like fucking Easy Mac and beer.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, like, it's pretty amazing that.
Yeah,
I didn't notice sooner. I was just. Yeah, no. In hindsight, it's like one of those things. Retrospectively, you're like, oh shit, like it makes a lot of sense. But
yeah.
I think maybe it's time that we get into a little segment.
Okay, good.
Called Depressing Questions.
Depressing questions.
I can't remember what the first question was, so I'm going to jump into the first one that I remember.
Are your segments sponsored? But just as an aside, like, are they all sponsored by S.AD Collection, or is it like
the
some
whole
other...
show? The whole show is sponsored by
Right.
S.AD Collection, but like, if I say something that gets me cancelled, like it's S.AD Collection's its own entity. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, we're like separate.
There's some holding companies in between.
Yeah. Actually, there's the structure up there which I can add in.
Nice.
But yeah, no. So it's like
So it's like Depressing Questions brought to you by S.AD Collection.
brought to you by S.AD Collection, and it's not necessarily always that the questions are depressing. It's just that like the answers
they're gonna make me feel depressed.
Like there'll be some form of depression experience.
Right.
Is the goal? Well, not the goal.
The goal. Okay, great.
So the first question, Sam, what are your thoughts on the radical left versus radical right?
It's an interesting question. I don't think I belong to either one of those groups.
Oh, I wouldn't presume that you did by any means. But like, I think we can see like some extreme things happening on both sides of the spectrum. I just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
I think if I was like had to pick a team, like or something like that, I would probably go the left way. But you know, I think radical behavior by its definition is probably not great.
You'd categorize yourself as more of a moderate?
Yeah, I think so. I think most people would if they're comparing themselves to like radical political groups.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
But yeah, I don't really have.
Do you follow much like American politics or not really?
Not like a ton. Probably like, you know, I watch a few like TV shows or anything, or and stuff like that. But I don't really like.
Yeah, no, fair. I mean, like, I only followed as much as, like, the radical right-wing.
Yeah, right, like, when you get the newsletter.
Yeah, when I get the Daily Wire.
Yeah. Oh, they're funding this podcast. This is like one of those kind of, like...
Honestly, we're not picky about sponsorship. Fucking Ben Shapiro wants to sponsor this.
Yeah.
I'll join his network. We're probably going to have to cut that, aren't we, Trine? So she's shaking her head. We're going to keep it in. We're going to keep it in just for
Ben
fun.
Shapiro's on the team.
Jesus Christ. We can't be saying that. I know, I did talk about this already, but like
Is Ben Shapiro that bad? Like, is he like cuttable?
Oh yeah, he says some like very questionable thing about trans people.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah,
okay,
like,
yeah,
I think a lot of those
that's
guys, they like, I think personally, like, not trying to project that you have to say anything, but like I think that there's like some good points on both sides, but then when it comes to the trans issue, that's when it's like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? You know what I mean?
Stupid, like,
yeah, they're just like, that's when they lose all credibility to me. I'm like, you fucking stupid. Like, actually, like,
yeah, well,
just so, I don't know.
You kind of see like a lot of that. You see like stories, and you know they're all like against like these, you know, drag queen book readings or something like that. And then, but it always turns out when they find like some sort of culty behavior or something like that, you know, it's always a youth pastor and like Republican community leader or something like that. So it's never usually, that's like, pretty weird.
I also, like, you know, there's like a big like controversy recently about like how like they're changing some words in like Roald Dahl's books and shit like that.
I did see that, yeah.
And I like originally my reaction was like, that's pretty stupid. Like, why are they changing classics? But then like I actually recently watched a video, which like went through the changes and like, they're not crazy to me. Like, it's a small price to pay for inclusion. It doesn't really impact the story at all.
Yeah, I think so. But I suppose like the reason people are mad is like it could be like a, you know, a slippery slope towards like censorship of like other, you know, things. And like if you're gonna change, you know, a couple of words here and there to be less like discriminatory, I suppose it's like where does that line get drawn? Which is like, you know, fair enough. I think it was like something to do with like fat shaming or something like that, right? I didn't actually see what they were.
They took out like the word ugly,
right?
But they kept in the word beastly.
Yeah, that seems a bit.
But like, to be honest, like to me that was like all right, whatever. Like, that's not a big deal. The fat shaming stuff, I'm like, I'm kind of not really sure where I stand on that issue as a whole, because I think that it's important to promote being healthy. But like, then obviously, like, I don't want to. There's obviously a lot of reasons that you can be fat. That's not necessarily like necessarily just related to your lifestyle choices and stuff. So
no, it's like genetics as well, right? And like
genetics and like
reasons,
there's like a bunch of like medical issues that
and like socioeconomic.
Yeah, true.
True. Do you like that? Yeah, but you know, like that's
vote
like,
Labour.
Yeah. Well, no. But you know, there's like some, you know, in like places like South Auckland, like the prevalence of like easy, you know, like fast food essentially, or like, you know, ultra processed food that's like more available, and is like generally cheaper than, you know, nutritious food choices.
Very
so
true.
Like,
right
can
now.
lead to, you know, that like generally being like a higher risk of obesity or whatever it is. You know, I'm no expert, but
the other thing that they changed in that book as well is like they changed.
What book was it? Do you actually know?
It was like a lot of the series.
Oh,
so
right,
like but like one of them, for example, was Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and they changed like Oompa Loompas from they were described as like small blue men or something. They changed them to like small blue people or something like that.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, which is like.
I suppose there are women Oompa Loompas as well.
Yeah, but it's just so insignificant to me. Like, I don't feel like that. I feel like if that is that changes like what it means to other people versus like how little it means.
So
to me.
you just denying the voice of women Oompa Loompas?
just cut back into how I feel about Oompa Loompas, and I think that Oompa Loompas, it's people like, you know, I think that at the end of the day, it's not an important change.
There's probably like other like more pressing issues with Oompa Loompas, right? Like, are they paid? They're basically slaves, aren't they?
Yeah, fuck, that's
like, yeah.
Well, they're paid in chocolate. I mean, it just depends on how much you value.
Yeah, I don't know if there's like, is there a union for Oompa Loompa factory workers, or?
I think we've reached the extent of the amount we can talk about Oompa Loompas. I think that people's interest is fading.
I don't know. I think we're just scratching the surface.
Oompa Loompa politics.
Yeah.
Oompa Loompa economics. I do have some more questions for you, though.
Okay.
Some more questions for you. I want to ask you about, it's an interesting one when I found this out back in the day. It's like, your favorite since Lynx Africa, is that right?
Yeah, that's actually a highly disputed fact. The jury's still out on that one, but I do own a lot of Lynx Africa.
Do you think you could dive into that for the audience?
Sure. So, I don't actually know how it started, but
I think you mocked me for wearing it once.
Right. Yeah, with good reason. And so since then, every Christmas from Adam, I receive a Lynx Africa gift set, which has a body gel, a shower gel, and a spray can of Lynx Africa.
Pure gold, really.
Yeah, so I think I have like a toiletries bag under my bathroom sink with about 6 cans of Lynx Africa in it. I don't think I've ever actually used it on myself. I think I used it as a weapon once when we were living together. I'd sprayed a lot in the living room, which was pretty gross after like 10 seconds. But yeah,
it's got a taste to it. Oh, that's
yeah,
the issue with Lynx.
puberty.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just don't really. Firstly, I'm not a huge fan of spray deodorant because, you know, I'm not 13. But also, the smell of Lynx Africa is quite triggering. It's like, it brings back PE locker room kind of.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. For me personally, I just thought it was hilarious to give him like a vintage every year. I was like, fucking,
yes,
this guy, like, eventually could write down. He'll have like, there's gonna be a market for that someday when they finally discontinue Lynx and you've got, you know, 2014 Lynx, you know, then there's like, I reckon there's gonna be some money there.
Yeah, 2014 was a stellar year for the Lynx, the Johnson and Johnson.
Yeah, I still get the weirdest looks as well when I go into fucking like Kmart to buy it. They're like, I thought like no one actually buys Lynx Africa gift sets as Christmas presents. I'm like, can I have this gift wrap? They're like, this fucking guy sucks.
Yeah, the gift wrap is really unnecessary at this point. I'm pretty confident what it is every time I get it, but
I just love their expression too much to not do it. You know?
Fair
I
enough.
just love that, like, you're actually one of those guys that I thought these people didn't exist.
Yeah. Do you get 2 because you replenish your own personal one, right?
Yeah, I get them both gift wrapped.
Yeah,
Give myself a little present every year as well, you know.
The shower gel is actually fine. Like, it's
Yeah.
not really that bad.
Yeah.
I'll use that, you know.
Yeah.
Waste not, want not. But yeah, I can't say I've been using the Lynx Africa. I actually haven't bought deodorant in like
You haven't needed to.
4 years. Yeah, I got given by Ashley's mum. She used to work at Pricewise, and she came home with like this literal like plastic shopping bag with like 40 Rexona roll-on deodorants.
Really fucked.
And so I'm like I'm kind of like, you know, a bit anxious about having to like buy deodorant again.
Yeah.
That's like a cost that's been taken care of for me for quite some
you
time.
know, you've got choice by the sounds of things. It's like Lynx Africa or this good, whatever this good shit is.
Yeah. It's been an easy choice.
As it now.
I can't say I've been too stumped on it, but yeah.
Yeah. Fair enough. I see how it is. Maybe I'll have to change it up, find a different brand for you next year.
Yeah, you know, they did like the chocolate Lynx, a few other varieties.
I just think it wouldn't have the same pull anymore.
No, probably.
But I do
not.
love that though. I think it's quite touching to still have that tradition after so many years.
It is. It's nicer. Yeah. The gift is more than the actual sum of its parts.
Yeah, it's like the thought and shit, right? Like that's like the bigger part of it.
Totally.
Yeah. I'm not quite sure if I can remember what the other questions were, Trine. Do you have those up by chance? Just get the. I think there's another. There's
Is this
another
like
good one
the
there.
Jamie thing on like Joe's podcast?
Yeah,
You're
except
like
she doesn't-
Jamie just.
She doesn't have a mic though, so like it's
Right.
just like we've had some experience in the past where she's like talked and then we had to have to like put the subs in and it just doesn't
Okay.
doesn't work as good. But yep.
Do you want to do what are some challenges you
Maybe don't even say that one. Just leave that one out. That one maybe is a little too far.
It's a bit spicy.
That's spicy words.
The other one is thoughts on ChatGPT.
Oh yeah, this is a bit more of a serious one. Like I think like you, like, as someone that works in programming, and obviously you've seen like the capability of these softwares in the past. Like, we're talking about ChatGPT again. I'm sorry guys for anyone that's not
Oh,
interested.
has ChatGPT been a topic before?
I think it's just like so topical for me. Like, I see it all the time, and like in my career at the moment as well. Like it comes up a lot, and I'm just like curious as to like from your perspective as a software developer, like how do you feel about it as a tool, and like also the future of like AI and how you think that's gonna change the landscape of your career really or work?
Yeah, I don't really. I mean, I personally don't have too much experience like with it. I've used it a couple of times to like play around with.
Were you impressed with the?
Yeah, I suppose so. I feel like it's. I haven't used it to do many like programming things, but I have seen examples of people that have. And it seems like it can do like a few pretty cool things. And yeah, there's this more so than ChatGPT is there's this other product called GitHub Copilot, which is
I've seen this shit. That's pretty sick.
so that's like a tool to use that basically auto completes your code as you use it. And I've never actually used that either, but I have a couple of friends that do.
Yeah,
And
one of our past guests Ant used it for a bit, and he's saying like it's pretty insane.
yeah, so I think it's just like suggests, you know, you might not write it exactly what it suggests, but it'll like point you in the right direction of some things that you might want to be thinking about having in your code, which is, you know, pretty helpful. You know, there's some like dicier questions around that because basically it's trained up on a whole lot of like open source code.
Yeah, so like stealing people's shit, right?
Yeah, which is just like the same thing with like the, you know, all the AI art ones, and ChatGPT.
Oh, Dahl,
and
yeah.
like and I think there's a couple of other ones like Midjourney and all those sort of ones.
Yeah.
But they're all, you know, trained off like open source art and like that kind of or like even whether it's open source at all is actually.
You see that shit about how it won like an art competition?
Oh really? I
Yeah.
didn't know.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Yeah,
That's crazy.
people
yeah.
were like super pissed off about it, obviously.
Yeah,
As
I
anyone would
bet.
be.
Well, it's like funny, like you see some of the images. It's like one of the images it generated, like it had like the Getty Images watermark in like in the bottom
really?
corner. So they were like, oh well, clearly it's been looking
Yeah.
at heaps of our, you know, copyrighted images.
To make this,
So and so you know,
that
that's
is
a
kind of
big
an
issue.
interesting point. Like, I don't know like where the line is for copyright anymore, to be honest. Like, even like with TikTok and shit, like you can use basically anyone's sound,
Yeah.
you know, and it's like chill. Like, you know, think about back in the like not even back in the day, like on YouTube, if I use like I don't know a song from like Eminem, for example, right?
Is that still the case, right? Though on YouTube, you couldn't just.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I can have it, but like I won't make any money from it. And I guess that's kind of the point, like, right? Like TikTok, you don't really make money from it, so you're really like trying to build an audience to then make money from selling a product or from like promoting a
Right.
product, right?
Yeah.
But
like T-shirts, for example.
yeah, like T-shirts, for example, like you know,
Yeah.
people that make those, you know. Hey, thanks,
Huh?
man. Appreciate that. Yeah. We'll get this guy back. Eh?
Get yours today.
He's got the brand.
Call now. There's limited time offer.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's it's probably something that's worth knowing more about. I imagine that people, as time wears on, people will probably use it more. And it'll be more commonplace. And I think it's everyone's quite amazed at how good it is. But I think from what I hear, it's actually, you know, it makes mistakes and
Oh, it does.
it's not super. Like it will be better as well, and so it'll be interesting to see what happens then. But
yeah, to clarify, I think like right now, like it's only really useful if you already know how to code. So like,
yeah,
if I was to try and use it to like write a website, I wouldn't know where it's wrong. Whereas like you would be able to like review its code and be like, okay, it's like this is where it's fucked up. you
yeah,
know?
totally.
So like it's like only as good as the user to a certain extent, but eventually you're right, that will like the newest versions are gonna fucking blow that out of the water.
And I think as well, like, you know, you have to be quite. The thing I always think about it is that, you have to be quite clear of about what you're asking it to do. And I think for me personally in my job, you know, obviously part of it is knowing how to program and, you know, figuring out how to solve, you know, how to make these software solutions, what have you. But the other part of it is interpreting what a client wants and suggesting the best way to go about it, you know, for their, you know, for the cost, how much they've got to spend on it or what they want it to do and what's the most important, and prioritizing that. And that means that, you know, if you're going to take that part of the process out of it, then you need to be, clients would have to be super specific about what it is that they want. And I don't think I think that's less likely to happen than the AI getting really good, which, you know, it's bound to. But
yeah, I think that, you're right. There's like, right now, as I was saying, like, you definitely need someone. So, but like, for example, if you had like a client come to you with like their requirements, like, then you can then have an idea of what the best way forward would be, and then you can sense check that against ChatGPT as well, which is like kind of how I would use it like right now professionally. Like in my job as a data analyst, like I can use it to like take stakeholder requirements and then like, you know, it's helpful for creating presentations, for example, where I'm like trying to like summarize, like I know what I want to say but not the right way to say it. You know?
It seems like that is like its real strength, right? It's like the
word
copywriting kind of thing.
For sure.
Being able to generate like a whole bunch of options for you to use in terms of like the wording of what your, you know, presentations or advertising or whatever it is, like, you know, that's something it can just kind of do pretty easily, and then you can take your pick. So that's kind of, it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. And I think there's like other, you know, things that are happening with it, like law as well. Like, you know, if you've got something that, some sort of system that knows all the laws and can interpret them properly, then, you know, if you're using that as a lawyer and you've got that sidekick with you, that's pretty interesting.
Or even not as a lawyer. Like, I don't want to piss off anyone in law, because obviously there can be consequences there. But like, I think that like they've been gatekeeping this knowledge behind like old English words for a long time. And I'm just like, if I can fucking tell ChatGPT what I actually want and it can spit it out for me, like,
but it's also like just like a volume thing, right? Like, you know, it's hard. It takes years for a human to know all these different laws and the way they. But, you know, if you have, you know, machine can process vast amounts of data a lot faster than, than a human can. So it's like quite an interesting,
it's exciting space.
It's pretty cool. Like I said, I don't really, it's not, I haven't come across it that much, but I'd kind of be keen to try it out a little bit more and see what happens.
There's another question I wanted to ask you about now. So like, you know, obviously you've got this like super professional like career as like a software developer, but then on the side, like, you know, I think it's very helpful to give some context. I think before you got that job, you were working in hospitality primarily.
Yeah, I was a manager.
Couple places, right?
One was like a kind of like a lunch spot / kind of like casual restaurant thing, and then the other was a bar. And so I was just like a shift manager, and a waiter. Well, before I was a manager, I was a waiter, and then and basically was doing that while I was studying. And then, you know, once I managed to find somewhere to work while I was finishing my studies in the software space. But I'd been doing that for quite a few years even before studying, and then
And my question is, after going through all that trauma that everyone that has worked in hospitality knows and hates, I just find it so fascinating how I did the same thing, but like I find it so fascinating, like that almost urge to go back once you get a like normal job, quote unquote, you know what I mean? So like, cause right now you're also working a couple shifts at the Bowls Club, which is probably a lot like cooler place to work, to be fair, than like a normal like restaurant.
I work at the should I say? Can I say?
Please shout them out,
the Mount Albert Bowling Club, and I also work at behind the bar at the Mount Albert Rugby League Club.
Oh, two now. Cool. Fucking.
So it's like a weeknight kind of thing.
Is that just because you missed like atmosphere a little bit and shit, like, or is it like a
cost of living crisis?
Fair.
I don't know. It was just to get some more money, really, but it was like kind of a nice thing to do obviously at my regular job, I like just sit behind a desk and
Yeah.
go like this all day, and don't really talk too much to people unless it's like through emails or on Zoom or whatever.
What do you think about that whole like hard work like versus mental hard work? You know, like physical hard work versus mental hard work.
Yeah, that's what it's nice. That's what, and after I've done a day with that, to go and do something that's like a lot more social and like a lot more, it's like pretty menial to work behind the bar at a bowling club is like, you know, there's not a lot of the fancy Hughes Place action going on behind the bar.
If you saw the behind the scenes of Hughes Place.
Yeah, well, like it's not like I don't know if you've told your viewers about when you worked at Euro or Swashbuckler.
Yeah, no, not really too much, but
it's not like it's opening bottled beers and you know, restocking a fridge, and it's, you know, but it's nice because it's like super like, you know, you don't, once you've finished a shift there or whatever, you just go and have a shower and get into bed, and you know, you don't have to think about it anymore. Whereas like in probably what you do, but definitely what I do, like, you know, you kind of it's hard to not take it home with you, and you're always thinking about the, you know, the next project, or you know, what's left to do on the project you're working on.
yeah.
Whereas working like a hospo thing, well, it can be, I mean, these bowling ones aren't that stressful. Like they can be busy, but you know, it's just me working behind the bar. I don't have a manager to answer to or anything like that. So it's just like running around for a bit, and then once you're done, you're done. So that's kind of nice. And
yeah, I can understand that. I can understand. I almost look like, for me when I did it, because like as you mentioned, I worked at Swashies, and like so I went, like started my professional job, and I was like, yeah, it started as like a money thing, but also I think some sick part of me like missed the rush of like how it actually feels to be like. You know, it's almost like when you're like doing it like for that many people and stuff, like it's like almost like a sport, you know what I mean? Like,
it totally is.
You're like a professional, like almost athlete at that point. Like you've reached that peak of your career, and then you're like, I'm never gonna open fucking 50 bottles again, like for myself. So it's just like,
it is cool. Like, it's definitely the best shifts at the bowling club are like when we have these really busy Thursday nights when we do like these social tournaments, and like, it is kind of like that, you know, like you kind of, you know, at like 6 o'clock, a whole bunch of these people are going to arrive and want to drink, and you kind of get into this like flow of like, you know, you grab all their drinks, or make, you know, making the drinks is pretty easy. It's usually like a something and something, so like a rum and coke or a gin and tonic. So it's pretty easy, but you know, you do all that, and you're doing the math of the order in your head before you've even like put it into the till, so you can just kind of punch it on the FPOS, and then you fix up the till while they're doing that.
Yeah,
and you
it's
kind
so
of get
rewarding,
into these like rhythms of like, this is the fastest way to do this. So you kind of like, if you've done it a lot, you get into this like flow state kind of thing.
You never feel more efficient in your life, eh? It's literally
Yeah.
like that. I've never felt that kind of efficiency in like professional work before. There's so much fucking bullshit. Like, I know they say like we're frictionless environments or whatever, but like, have you noticed that there's so much like bullshit where that could just be like cut out if there was pressure?
Every
you know?
meeting should be an email.
Yeah,
and every
exactly,
email
bro,
should
exactly.
Be,
and when you're like a 1 or 2 man band, it's just so efficient, bro. I love it.
It's cool. It's you know, club people are pretty cool. They're like,
I was almost drinking midweek.
But that hasn't really changed though, has it?
No, I'm much better now, bro. I'm only on the weekends. I only drink for the unhappy hour. So I'm only reliving my bartending days for this 1 hour and the hour before this and the hour after this.
Right.
You know, but generally speaking, like I'm pretty.
Then
like,
it's just Gogginsing out.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask your thoughts on the vlogs. I know that your girlfriend Ashley, she'll probably be on this at some point. But Ashley, if you're watching this, one of my loyal viewers has been watching the vlogs every day. I just wanted to get your thoughts on them.
Yeah, they.
Yeah, there's something. You can be honest.
I don't enjoy watching them. No. They represent everything I don't like about social media. But,
hustle culture, bro.
Get that paper.
It's more about like
that grind set.
Grind set. I like it because it's like I'm not like the classic, you know, like there's that bullshit what is it called? Cody Co does a video on it. It's like epic morning routine or something.
Right.
Where it's like basically like this guy, he wakes up and his like alarm clock says rise and grind, and he's like fucking stoked to live his day. I think his name's Dre Drexler. And it's like for me, I've like looked at that and I was like, that's so fucking cringe. So I want it, but I also like at the same time do want to like do the healthy stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like trying to make content. I was like, how can I make content every day? But then have it not like intrude on my life to the point where like I like hate my life.
Yeah.
Even though obviously it's a dull life. And I think like that's why I reached this like kind of happy medium of just like mocking those like epic morning routine guys in like a 30-second format.
But if you do it every day, is it really mocking that?
Oh, I think like I think the mocking part comes in because there's like no point in my like day where I'm like smiling about it, you know? It's like,
Right.
Like I'm not like stoked to be waking up at 4 a.m. I hate it every day. It's like every day I do that, I'm like,
yeah,
why
that
am
sounds
I doing this?
awful.
It does. It sucks. It does suck. And every day when I literally sit like it's a different layout, but this is like in my room if you don't know. I literally sit in that chair that you're sitting in.
The bar in the other room though, with like the crinkly background.
That's pretty lit, bro. Yeah, that's where the guests wait before they come in. Actually,
yeah. Great service.
But yeah, I was like literally sit in that chair for like 30 minutes before I leave every day.
Yeah.
Because it's like it sucks that much. I understand what Goggins is
saying.
saying.
When do you go to bed?
Trying to go to bed at 9.
Right, and so you wake up at 4.
Yeah. So
on the dot.
Getting 7 hours.
And then how many minutes do you do in the ice bath?
You know, Lenny's making ice bath.
Is Lenny actually making
Yeah.
In like a rubbish bin or something?
No, like it's like
a proper one.
Like a barrel.
Is it actually good? Like,
oh yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
I could probably use one. My legs are pretty sore.
But actually, ironically, like we talked about this in the first one, but like, you apparently need to use it before you do the exercise.
Oh, okay.
Not after, which is buzzy. Yeah.
Right.
But
so
yeah,
it's not like a recovery thing. It's just like a.
Yeah, it's like I don't know the science behind it, but Lenny does because he's like started a business basically where he's making them now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like pretty legit. Like he's like they're only still working on the first prototype, but basically it's like
is that like how you don't sell t-shirts or?
I'm selling a lot actually. Cut that out. Cut that out. Cut that piece. The shirts are doing great. People have been questioning the price range. I'm like, I'm fucking competing with Gucci, you know? Like
the quality is
it's
stellar.
Yeah, it's stellar. I don't see any like, you know. I wear. I think a testament to the quality is I literally wear the same T-shirt. Like I wear a variation of my own clothes every day, and you know now that I say that out loud, that does sound a little douchey, but I wear a variation of my own clothes every day, and look, the quality's great, bro.
It's pretty good.
It's no wear. It's no wear. This is actually embroidered. You know.
Oh, okay.
So like, I'm actually gonna clip this. I'm gonna put this on my.
This is a hard plug.
Yeah, this is a hard plug. But I think that probably does wrap up. Depressing questions. It wraps up depressing questions. So
good.
I think we can take a quick break and make us another drink, and then we'll get back into some more stuff. It's okay to not be okay. S.AD collection. Wow, what another spectacular advertisement. Really, S.AD collection has been banging those out. Oh my god. What did you think? I mean, to be fair, he's never seen it.
I thought it was amazing.
You thought that was spectacular?
Yeah. You know, and if I was one of the viewers, I'd be reaching for my wallet.
Reaching for your wallet.
Yep.
And pulling out probably a platinum card because of
but most people don't have platinum cards.
I don't know about that, bro. I don't know about that. I think like that is a good segue into a good, like, I guess a story from my past that Sam likes to remind me of frequently, and that is the tale of me and my platinum credit card from ASB. Shout out ASB.
Yeah, shout out ASB. Crippling people's futures.
Stellar job, guys. Stellar job.
Yeah, that was that.
Yeah, I mean I'll give you like the basically. One day, me and Sam were out doing errands or some shit, and I decided that I needed to go to the bank. And keep in mind, this is all like premeditated. There was none of this was like on the fly thought out. I was like, I'm getting this card.
Yeah, but I didn't know that. I thought we were going to get a haircut and like a belt from AS Color.
And we did get those things.
Yeah,
and then we stopped into the bank, just a quick stop into the bank on the way back. And I I didn't realize how long it was going to take filling out this credit application. But basically, I go on there. Sam's like, I'll just wait outside or whatever. And I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah, you said you were depositing a check.
Which should have been a red flag.
Yeah, that was like, okay, sure.
Should have been a red flag in hindsight.
I'm a trusting guy. Like, cool.
Yeah. I was not depositing a check. I instead decided that I needed a consultation with their manager to talk through credit card options. And to ASB's credit, they did spend 30 minutes trying to convince me that I didn't need the platinum card. But as those who know me know, I have a very strong mind when I want something. So I was in there basically being like, no, I think I want this one, blah, 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 like trying to hurry along the application, conscious that Sam's waiting outside. But little did I know that over this time, Sam had come into the bank and had overheard me basically hustling this lady to give me a platinum card. And yeah, so do you want to maybe touch on what your thoughts were in that moment and what your advice was?
Yeah, I suppose it was like two-pronged because obviously I didn't think you needed a platinum credit card.
Yeah, hindsight's a
as
beautiful
a
thing.
bartender at Swashbucklers.
Which is amazing that I got one, to be
fair. Well, I suppose they just give them to whoever, right? Because
Apparently.
they still make money either way.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, and then also I was like, well, I've been waiting on fucking New North Road for like 45 minutes. Like, surely you could have said beforehand, I could have gone and got like a drink or something. I've been like pacing outside the bank for like 40 minutes while you fuck up your finances. Yeah, so I was less than pleased. And then I think when we got back home from the errands, I was quick to tell
every single one of our
all of our flatmates and get them to chime in.
And none of the chimes were agreeing with me.
No.
None of the chimes thought it was a good idea. And in hindsight, you know, I might not have gone to uni, but I sure as hell have student debt. Or not student debt, just debt.
Just good old-fashioned
Just good old-fashioned debt, you know?
Yeah.
Probably worse almost off with the higher interest rates. But regardless, you know, we live and we learn. I think you're going to have to go through these things. And certainly me, I don't take advice well, as you've probably come to know.
I think I've like stopped giving most of it because it falls on deaf ears.
No, you still give me advice, and I still appreciate it. I still value your opinion. The issue is that, like, I feel like I have this, like, thing that I have to learn these lessons, like, you know, the hard way every time, you know? Like, well, I'm trying to think. There was a recent example of it. It will come to me. But we'll circle back to it. But yeah, I've just always been that way. I'm not good at
learning from other people's mistakes.
Yeah, I'm not good at just accepting that because it hasn't worked for the 10,000 people before me, that I'm not going to be the exception, which is obviously delusional. But you know, when it works, it's great.
Yeah. Do you have any examples of that?
Well, this podcast in 100 episodes.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. You know. Well, we'll be looking back on this going like, was he crazy? You know. I mean, I think a lot of people would have said the same thing about Kanye, and you know, now he is crazy, so they were right objectively. But he's also a billionaire, so you know, you got to factor that into the equation somewhere. You know.
He's a pretty successful musician.
He's a pretty successful
as well.
Musician Nazi.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No. That's really sad to see. I actually watched a video on that recently, the Kanye stuff, man. And I was like, had the realization that like, he's actually mentally unwell, you know. And like,
I think that's like pretty well documented at this point, right?
But the fact that the media like decides to continue to project what he's saying and give him a platform, despite like it being known that like it's just like there's something inherently wrong. You must know if you're filming him like, oh, this is like, you know, he's not in his like right mind saying this stuff, and like literally he's off the meds, like quote him off the meds. Like it's just like it just feels like you're taking advantage of him almost, if you will.
Yeah, I suppose so. But I mean, like, you know, he's kind of that's interesting.
It's interesting to right? Because it's so easy based on like what you hear to be like, oh, he's a bad dude. Like, you know, I called him a Nazi before, but you know, like, you know, for all like he could be having like an episode and saying that shit, you know what I mean? Like,
but it's like a fairly like sustained pattern of behavior, right? Like clearly he's not. I don't know if we're qualified to talk about, you know, what kind of state that he's in or whatever, but you know, like he's not doing himself any favors.
No,
like,
for sure.
Hopping on Alex Jones, and you know, if you go on Alex Jones's show and you make him look good, then you know something's probably pretty wrong.
Yeah, but that's I guess like you can't. I don't know if you can knock Alex Jones for like taking advantage of that shit as well. But like there's like someone that did it better, like you know, like Lex Fried, for example. Like,
right.
He had him on, and it was like much more of like that comment hurts me, blah blah blah. Like, right. Say that kind of shit. It was like more like checking him and stuff.
I haven't seen that.
Whereas like there's a lot of platforms that just sort of
Is
let
he,
him say
like,
his spiel and then
Quite
like
right wing, that Lex Friedman guy, or is
Nah.
he's like pretty
Nah.
neutral.
he's like in the Rogan squad and he's like
Right.
he's like a
He's all good. He has like some cool like chess videos that I've like. He gets like Lexi. Oh no, is that his name? Levy Rosman, who's like
Oh, yeah?
Gotham chess. I don't know
Who's
if you-
playing him? Is this Lex who's playing him? Or
I think
no?
I think he. There's like one episode with
Is
it's
he?
like Hikuri Nakamura or something. I think his
Oh,
name
yeah,
is. He's
yeah.
like he's like a former he's like a grandmaster, right? But he like kind of takes him through and talks to him about stuff and like
Yeah.
talks about Magnus and stuff. But
Have you been playing much?
yeah, I've still been playing quite a bit.
Yeah.
I play like
You chess.com?
yeah, on chess.com. Yeah, I still
All the
been
boys are
playing
getting
quite
into
a-
it.
Oh,
recently.
really?
Yeah, like Lenny and stuff are into it
Oh,
now.
we should have like chess night.
Yeah, I haven't been playing as much as I should since the Queen's Gambit days. So
Yeah.
obviously very easily influenced.
We're playing. I think I still have that board of that I got you.
I'd love to play you, bro.
Mm.
Any opportunity to assert my dominance.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the all-time scoreboard leans pretty heavily in my favor. But
Definitely in pool. Definitely in pool.
well, I think in both.
In both. Yeah.
Yeah.
You reckon? Yeah, maybe. In chess.
I think. In
I had a good
chess-
game the other day. I bet Will the other day.
Is Will
Sorry,
pretty
Will,
good?
putting you on blast.
Yeah, Will
I don't know.
step up your game,
To
bro.
be honest, I don't think we both don't play that much, and it was
Right.
it was pretty tight to be honest.
No,
to be
it's pretty
honest.
good, eh?
Oh, no, it's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, from what you've said,
Yeah, Noah's up. By the way, shout out Noah.
yeah.
One
Shout
of those-
out.
I don't think I've ever shouted him out on this before, but he probably is going to be watching this. So
Mm.
actually, I think it's only fair that we give him his credit, even though it's fucking annoying that he's better than me at chess
Yeah.
and like a lot of things. It's frustrating, but
No, that's yeah, chess, man. We need to get the chess going.
yeah,
I'm all about it.
yeah. Nah, he's good. I still talk to him actually quite a bit. Even though he's overseas. Like I don't know. Do you have many friends that like don't live in the country? It's like
Yeah,
it's,
heaps.
yeah.
Yeah. Ruben and
Oh,
Fee live
yeah.
in Melbourne. Griffith, I don't know. Did you ever meet my mate Griffin? He lives in
No.
Melbourne. Another friend of mine, Jordan.
Do you find it's like way harder to like keep in contact when they're overseas?
Yeah, I
To
don't know if
some
I'm
extent?
great at keeping in contact
Yeah,
with
I don't
people
think I am
anyway,
either.
so I don't think it like, it's probably better because like when they're back, then we do link up and that's nice. Like I saw Griffin last weekend; he was back for his dad's 60th, and then
Yeah.
I like it's nice because you see people and yeah, Fraser lives in London.
Yeah. Good.
Shout
Shout out Fraser.
Yeah,
Sorry, probably like shouting out all these names that no one watching knows, but
It's
all,
alright.
all good dudes. Like I was trying to make it more general, just like the whole like it is like really hard. Like I also feel like that my barber had some like thoughts on this. He was like basically saying like, because he's someone that moved from the UK to New Zealand, right?
Right.
And his like whole perspective was like it's kind of on you to keep in contact because you're the one that removed yourself from like
yeah,
day-to-day
totally.
life. But regardless of like that sentiment, like it is super nice, like knowing that, like, especially in, like the case of Noah, like we can catch up once a week and it's like nothing's changed, and he's like we're still like
Yeah, I
boys that he can like give me advice. Like he sends me fucking like pages of advice on what I should not do better on my podcast
Right.
and stuff, and it's like I appreciate it. Like it's like one of the, it takes like a real G, like real
Yeah. I think that's like the same way with like people that live overseas. Is like when you see them again, you kind of just click straight back in, like
Yeah,
like
exactly,
they never left or whatever. It's
exactly.
always like pretty nice. You just like carry on as if they've been there the whole time. So
yeah, that's true, man. Do you think you'll ever shoot overseas?
I don't know. I quite like it in New Zealand. Like
Mm.
I'd like to do some more travel, but I think I'll probably always live in New Zealand unless like something crazy happens. But
What would quantify it? Like, what would be crazy for you? Like
I don't know. Like
another lockdown? Just kidding.
well, the government can't hold me, so I'm too big at this point that like I'm just
Can't put a
globally.
mask on
Yeah,
this.
exactly. I'll just come and hang out with you and your right wing cronies. So.
I want to clarify that I'm not right wing. I
Yeah,
just watch a lot of their content and agree with half of what they say.
Pretty sure I saw you at that protest outside of Parliament, but yeah, you and
about
Pastor
to be
Brian hanging out.
Hard to be cut. No, in my defense, I'm so anti-government that I don't vote either way. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you're just so lazy that you.
it's not lazy. I voted for the weed referendum.
Did you?
Yeah,
Did
mainly
you
because I
vote
got bullied.
pro or against.
Probably because I got bullied by everyone I know.
Yeah, that's good. You should vote. That's why we live in a democracy. You got to exercise your right.
I'm not gonna. Yeah, that's like the first time I voted. Like honestly, just like never. But even before that, I don't think I was like even like registered to vote.
Why do you not vote?
I think I just don't. It's kind of. I guess it comes back into like the. It's stupid, and I know that it's like irrational. I think it's probably from when I was younger. I was like, I don't like. Like when I say younger, I mean like 18, 20. Like I don't like that idea that I don't have control over such a big aspect of my life to an extent. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but aren't you just like forfeiting the only control that you do have?
Yeah, in a way, but it's like
Yeah.
in my mind, it's like a protest, which is like stupid. But
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like it's like I don't want to I don't want to vote for someone that I don't believe in just for the sake of someone that I don't believe in getting in. Like it's just super counterproductive to me.
Right, but you can just vote for the person that you believe in the most, right?
Yeah, well, that's kind of the point, though. It's like I don't believe in anyone. I don't believe in any politician enough that it's like supersedes another. Like I can tell who's the worst,
Yeah.
but like.
But couldn't you just do that in reverse order and find the one that's the best?
Let me ask you a tricky question.
Oh.
Like, who would you vote for in Trump versus Hillary? Like, because to me, both of them are shitty options. I wouldn't vote.
Oh, I'd definitely vote Hillary.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't
okay.
even see
But like,
how like I don't know enough about American politics, but like I don't really see how Hillary was that bad. Like
I think like the main stuff is she committed legitimate crimes. Like
yeah,
in terms of like the.
but wasn't Donald Trump like accused of like sexual assault?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying though. Like,
Yeah.
If you have two criminals that you have to pick between, like,
Yeah,
why do you have to
right.
pick
But
one?
one's
Like,
a
that's my
criminal
point, right?
and like an idiot. And, like
Yeah, and one's a criminal and smart. I don't know if that's better, bro.
well,
Like,
I think one's a
which one would you
criminal
rather be
and a
in
better
charge?
politician.
And a better yeah,
right, or a
that's-
better leader,
But the
right?
whole like fact that that's a choice that people had to make is like the whole reason why I push back. I mean, it's obviously not as bad in New Zealand. I think we can agree.
Yeah,
agree on
well,
that.
it's all pretty similar, right?
Yeah.
But
But like that's sort of like at an extreme version why I like, even though I know rationally speaking, because like I have thought about it more since. It's been like, okay, like, you know, don't have any say in it, but I don't have any say in the outcome. But if I don't vote what I believe in, then like I'm contributing to the problem to an extent.
yeah, well, and if everyone that thought that way, or that felt like kind of helpless or whatever, and like, you know, they all didn't vote, then you're basically just leaving it to decide to the people that do, and you know, they potentially might be people that don't, you know, aren't interested in protecting your.
I think I just like to take the
freedoms.
I like to just take the stance of like, if I don't vote, then I can make my own laws, and I choose what laws I follow, and that's been causing some issues. You probably like know from when we used to live together, like every second letter for me was either like the bank or the government giving me another ticket.
Obscene credit card statement or the police.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
It hasn't changed, right? I actually like I brought them on because I wanted to get your thoughts on these. I want to talk about what happened here, and I want to almost fuel to the fire for why it's bullshit. And so yeah, currently I have a little bit of a stack. You guys can't see this. So just some of them are reminder notices or whatever.
Okay,
you know,
so I need to get
tickets.
the ones that aren't reminders.
Probably just the
then.
ones that the reminders are better because like you'll be able to get to the ticket faster.
Oh, okay, right. So the pink and the orange one.
Yeah.
No,
Weird
but
that
they
they're
don't. Do
different
they have
colours.
They don't have all the info, right?
Yeah, they've got the amount.
Yeah, no. I need the info. I want to know how fast you're going.
Oh, do they not have the info?
No. These ones do the. I do know because I've had a couple myself, but
I thought you were
definitely not as well. You know, relatively speaking, but
relatively speaking.
you know,
Feel free to
I think the difference between the limit and the speed is on my ones is going to be a lot more tame. $300.
Yeah, that one's fucking obscene, eh?
So where were you? State Highway 29.
Yeah, okay.
Te Poi, where's that?
It's like just coming out of Tauranga.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Go on then.
This one is just like such poor signage. So we're talking about like this one. To be fair, I did not expect to get ticketed this much. So it's a 70 zone, but it's a motorway, which is like already in and of itself. Why is it a fucking 70 zone? That's bullshit. But so I was going technically 30. Or how much are they going over?
You're going 33 kilometers.
33 kilometers over. So they decided.
So you were breaking the speed limit that you thought it was anyway.
By 3 kilometers.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can break the speed limit by 10 and it's chill.
Oh, right. I think they. I'm not. I think
Or is
they.
it 5
I
now?
think it's 5. But
Okay. Well, regardless, I would have been safe in the
chill's
in the
probably not. right terminology.
Okay.
You won't get a fine.
Yeah, okay, all right, well, whatever. So yeah, so that one was just like bullshit. So it's a motorway, but you can only go 70, and this was like the day after New Year's. So I was like, what the fuck, like, you know, there's literally no one on the road. Who gets up early on fucking New Year's Day to drive home? No one. Which is why it's unreasonable that I got ticketed for going a reasonable speed on a motorway. Anyways, what's the next one?
The next one is the Auckland-Kumeu motorway.
Yeah, oh, this one's bullshit.
Oh,
this
this is
one,
Kingsland.
I know where this one was. This
Oh,
one.
right.
Yeah, this one's absolutely
This is
bullshit.
80 zone, and you're going 103. So 23 k's
again,
over. $170.
$170. This one was by a cop. There's a few things I want to talk about.
A cop pulled you over.
Cop pulled me over on this one, yeah, which is why the colors are different.
Oh.
Yeah. So
this
one's
one
a
is
camera.
Different. This is not a ticket. It's something else.
I think that's the front page of one of them.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
There's just the two. Those are the two. So currently, $470 worth of tickets that are due to be paid, and this is my public protest on those tickets. Put me on the stand. Put me on the stand. Sam.
They're going to if you get any more of these.
Yeah, well, they can only give you demerits if it's from a cop, not from a...
Yeah, right. So
yeah.
how many demerits did you get?
I got, I think, 15 or 25, 325, 35.
35. How many
35
demerits can you
Currently
get?
have. I actually...
Or can you get?
You can get 100 before your license gets removed.
Right, and how many do you have?
I think mine reset, fortunately, before this, so I'm actually safe. Thank the Lord.
Because you're a recidivist offender.
Yeah, but anyways, regardless of that, so this guy, we're talking. So it's like we're driving to go to the Tongariro crossing, right? So we're leaving Auckland. It's early in the morning, ish. Again, not much traffic. And you know, like on the Western motorway, I'm sure you're familiar with this, right? Because you live out west. So
Yeah. Well, Waterview, but yeah.
yeah. So we were driving like just before the Great North Road exit on the Western motorway, right? And you know how there's like that bit where it's like 80 before it becomes 100?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a cop parked like right before it changes.
Right.
And so I got fucking snapped going 100. Like must have been maybe a kilometer and a half before it becomes becomes like 100 zone. And he pulls me over, and so I'm in the fast lane. I don't know. I talked to a lot of people about this, and like maybe I was wrong about this, but basically I was in the fast lane, so the furthest right lane, and he comes in behind me, and I decided to pull over because there was a bay on the right side.
Oh, you pulled over to the right.
Yeah, but I obviously should have pulled over to the left.
You don't do that.
Yeah, but stupid. Why do they have a bay there for? Anyways, regardless.
Do that? Like, what do you mean by a bay?
It's like the same amount of space on the right side as the left side.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you just always pull over to the left.
Well, I would have had to change 3 lanes to do that. It just felt like the wrong decision, especially because the run, like the off ramp was coming up.
Yeah, right.
But anyways, so I was like, whatever, fuck it, I'm just gonna pull over to here, whatever.
Yeah.
And he like the first comment he says is just like, "Where did you get your license, bro?"
Yeah. I mean, to be fair,
I was like, this motherfucker.
I'm kind of on the police guy's side of this. Pull over to the right. What the fuck?
Pull over.
You know, I just think like you're probably like, you know, you're speeding, but like you said, like it is pretty. I think that's actually a variable speed zone as well. Like on the weekends, it's like on different times that they make that bit 100.
So
all the way
do you
through.
think it's because of my decision to pull over to the right?
I think it like would have heavily influenced his.
Bro, this guy just taking the piss, bro. So he pulls me over. He pulls me over. Has the audacity to ask where I got my license from, and then I was like, sort of like still playing nice, you know, like in that bit where you don't think you've got the ticket yet.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, I got it from this and this place, and he's like asked to see it, and he's like, if you had anything to drink, I'm like, it's fucking like 8 in the morning, you can't. Like in my head, I was like, this motherfucker makes me do a breathalyzer.
Actually.
I used to do a breathalyzer before being like, should have pulled over on the right, should have pulled over on the left hand. I was like, oh, fuck you, bro. And then he fucking gives me the fattest ticket.
I can't believe you didn't pull over on the left.
But this just like, it was just impractical.
Yeah, where did you get your license?
Fuck off. Fuck off. I still feel slighted by that guy.
Yeah, I honestly think like the speed you might have got let off because of like they do change that a bit round.
Yeah, that was bullshit. But they're pulling over on the fucking unbelievable.
Yeah, it is unbelievable that you don't know that.
I've never been pulled over on the motorway before. They
yeah,
never catch me.
I've only ever pulled over on the motorway once which was when
On the
I
left.
was on the left, yeah, and I also had to cut across 3 lanes, which was even
stupid.
more difficult because
stupid,
my
right?
car wasn't creating any power.
It was, but that's stupid. Though,
Have I told you that story?
No, did
That
you
was
get the
that
car
was
out?
when we were going to the day that we were going to look at the viewing for 152 Avondale.
That's
And so I was
shouted that out already. That's
I
like, oh,
yeah, I
crap.
had seen that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Long time fan, first time caller.
Fucking hotline.
But yeah, so I went over to pick up Ashley from work because she was working in Takapuna at the time, and that was when I was driving that Corolla.
I love that car.
Yeah, so did I. It was great
That's a beautiful
until it wasn't. And
The car after that was also sick.
yeah, I was just driving along the motorway, and it kind of been making like some weird noises for like quite a while, and then like all of a sudden it just went like bang, like real loud, and then just started losing power.
It's the last thing you want to fucking hear.
Yeah, and
on
I
the
was like
motorway,
in the rightmost lane like you were, so I was like, oh shit, like I need to get across like 3 lanes to get over to the left shoulder where you pull over.
Okay, I was wrong.
And which I luckily managed to do, but yeah, basically like the car had just pooped itself, and I was like waiting in like the hot as sun for like 2 hours for a tow truck to come. And like when the towee put it on and took it back to our place, and when he took the car off like his tow bed or whatever, there was this huge bit of metal like that big just sitting, and it was like a chunk of the engine that had like come off when it went like bang. And so I just like, as soon as we got off the truck, I called a guy, and he like just came and towed it away and gave me like $300 because it was just rooted.
So they just have to use the parts after that.
Yeah, like all the interior was all fine, and like, you know, there's tons of
fucking
other
wild. Was that
95
scary?
Corolla. Yeah, it was pretty scary. I was like, I knew it wasn't gonna last for very long because it sounded so bad, but like the fact that it was on the motorway, the scariest part was just getting it up to the other
To the
side
other
because I was
side,
like,
yeah.
shit, like I have
How
no.
fast were you going when you crossed into those lanes?
Well, I would have been going like 100 or like 80 or whatever it was at the time.
Whatever the speed limit
Yeah,
was.
whatever. You know, I follow the speed limit, so mostly.
Mostly.
You know, I would have started off like that, but it started slowing down pretty quickly. So I was quite lucky that I managed to find a gap and just like went, you know, pretty decisive to get over there before before it all went wrong.
That would be genuinely.
But then from the side of the road, I called my granddad and was like, "Hey, I know you've got that Holden in your garage. Like, my car's just gone kaput. Can I come and get the
Use
Holden off you?" And so he was like, "Oh yeah, all right." And then
that was a fucking sick car.
yeah, it was a cool car. Yeah, it was big. It was a boat. Like, it was so big. But yeah,
He was probably stoked to have you drive that as well. Like,
Yeah,
he
I
wasn't
think-
driving it heaps.
No, he wasn't driving it at all. Like, it was just in his garage, like doing nothing. So it was nice that someone got to drive it for a bit more. But that was like similarly, like, you know, it was the same age as the Corolla, so it was like heading in a downward direction from the moment. I mean, all cars do, right? They just start braking the minute you buy them. Like,
Bet you regret not making the same car decision as me.
well, yeah, that car was free, and the first car was like $2,000.
Yeah.
And even my car now was only like 4, so.
In all fairness, like what I'm talking about is like I bought the Swift, right? That's like, yeah, and like I know it's a fucking embarrassing car to drive as a dude.
Oh, it was nice enough.
It was a
just
good-
like,
it was a
just
good-
wasn't anything special, right?
It was a good car to drive, but the reason I chose that is like, cause like, and this is another poor like credit decision with Adam. Poor credit decisions with
That one was probably even worse than the card,
bro, that
right?
one was fucking dumb. That was like $15,000 or some shit, and I had to,
Yeah.
like, cause I bought it like with the loan I could get was from Heartland Bank. Shout out Heartland Bank. I just shit talked them in the last one.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I said like hardships in their lending criteria.
Oh my god.
Anyways, that's gonna come back to bite me at some point.
Yeah.
But,
You can scratch that reference.
anyways, who gives a shit? I had to use them for a loan, and that was a fucking nightmare because I had to get like full mechanical insurance and stuff. And it's, like,
Right.
a lot of stuff like that. But like the only reason I chose to get a fucking Suzuki Swift because I like hated that car when I got it because I was like, oh, I could have got something so much better. I literally was on the lot looking at BMWs, and I knew the amount of shit I would get from you.
Yeah, well, that would have been fucking
if I came back in a
stupid, but
fucking Euro car, you
the
would've
only
been
smart thing about that thing was like the car you got was like
super economical.
yeah, like economical and safe, and like would probably resell for a similar amount, which it
which
pretty
it kinda
much did, right?
Yeah, I lost some money on it, but it was definitely like better than like.
But like it was just
the
seemed so dumb. Like lots of people probably your age at the time would have been like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get a car loan because I want to get like something like Will's car or whatever, like one of those like Subis or something like that, or like it was just like I'll put myself into debt, but I'll get like something pretty slick. But yeah, it was just funny that you were like, I'm gonna spend 15 grand on like the basic white.
And it was all because I had you in the back of my head being like, why the fuck did you buy that? And like my defense, my justification in my head was like, can't talk shit about this, bro. Economics, it's economics, dog.
Like
saving money.
$5 grand cash on like some second hand. Like
yeah, I know.
You just
I just didn't have any money. Like I only could get it through a loan. Like that was.
You can get a loan to get second hand cars, can't you?
Maybe.
I think you can. Oh, maybe not from Heartland.
Maybe my thought process was like, if I'm gonna get a loan, I might as well get a good like car that I want. But
yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, because you sold it, but like, surely you were paying the interest off that for ages, right?
Oh yeah, no, it was a shit show, bro. I hated that fucking thing.
Yeah.
But all things considered, it probably did help me fly under the radar for cops because like there's probably a lot less boy racers driving Suzuki Swifts.
Yeah, I don't think there's that many boy racers driving Hyundai Sonatas.
Oh, I think there's a few, right? There's a community of us, bro.
Also, the fact that it's sign ridden probably doesn't help when you're like.
I've got for context. I have like S.AD couriers like as a stamp on the side of my car.
Yeah, free delivery.
Yeah,
nationwide.
We do free delivery nationwide. And there's also like if you want me personally to deliver it, it's like for $1,000. I'll fly anywhere in New Zealand to deliver it, and I've got like keeping in mind I have a full-time job, so like that's a guarantee. I will fucking call in sick to fucking take your delivery, and just want you to know that out there for that one person that's willing to spend that kind of money. Yeah. The disclaimer as well is like
it's optimistic.
Well, the disclaimer as well is like it's whatever the cost of the flights is. So like, say you live in Dunedin, like if it doesn't cost $1,000 to get there, then like it's however much it cost me to get there.
Oh, nice. Yeah. You'll refund the difference.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, like we're a company that cares, just like putting in that personal service. I just can't wait for like the first time someone does that. I want to show up with like some like Moet champagne, fucking
nice.
like
the full service.
Knock on the door and do like the sword thing, and, like spray them with champagne.
Well, I think you've got a lot of time to prepare because I don't think it's gonna happen.
Well, that's the worry though. It's like eventually, like it will be a point where someone will be able to afford that. Like if my brand keeps growing, right?
Yeah.
And then like I forget about it.
Yeah.
Then fucking will be a point where someone's like, that is kind of worth it. And then like if I don't change it quickly at that point, then I am gonna be like fucking.
But like,
doing
what brand would you like? Say you're just like liquid as, and you've got heaps of money. You like, what brand would you like pay $1,000 for their like CEO to come in?
Well, it depends. Like it depends if their CEO is like a celebrity or not.
Yeah.
Which is what this is about. Bro.
Yeah. But I know, like, if there was like a brand, is there a brand you would spend $1,000 to be the CEO of?
Justin Bieber fucking runs Drew.
Right. So you'd pay $1,000 to
I
Justin
personally
Bieber.
wouldn't.
Well, that's what I mean.
But there's people that would.
Yeah. No, I'm sure there is.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But
for you,
not to say that I'll ever be Justin Bieber. Just to clarify, and, fuck that guy for doing happy clothes. Fucking anti that shit.
But like, is there one that you would pay $1,000 to?
Kanye before he started talking about like
I suppose. Yeah.
I don't know. There's probably a few. Like none are coming to. I would have paid money just now, like retrospectively, maybe like something from like, I don't know, Tyler the Creator. It's got golf. I'd probably pay money to see him. They're all musicians as well, though. I guess so. My raps are coming out.
You've got a ways to go until someone's likely to consider that.
Oh,
option.
I just think it's like funny. Like if I think there's probably, I think regardless of whether I would do it, there's a certain group of people that would.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's like why I think like it's like you got to be careful about that shit. I'm already like considering changing it. Make it like 10K. I don't know. Not that I think it's a big risk right now, to clarify.
I think you've got some time.
We are making sales, though. I just want for the doubters out there. You made a comment earlier, like, we're doing okay. We're doing well.
Yeah.
I'm saying okay. We are a public company, though, so don't check our and check our returns this year.
Can you do that? Can you just like
yeah,
look
it's
up?
company's office. Yeah.
Oh right,
Yeah.
nice. Maybe I will.
But we trade as SAD collection, so we actually have a different. There's a different holding company. So
Yeah, right. Yeah.
it's really structured.
So, Cayman Islands, like some tax loopholes.
There's a few
that-
trusts.
yeah. Some shady
Yeah.
stuff going on
Don't
in
worry,
the Baltics.
I've talked with my lawyer, ChatGPT.
Oh yeah, nice. Yeah.
We've made some strides. Look at all. Yeah, it's a bit of a worry. All
Yeah.
right. It's been a pleasure having you on, man.
Oh,
Honestly,
thank you
it has
for
been
having
a
me.
serious pleasure, and I'm really super stoked that like one of my oldest friends. I feel like I've
Oh yeah.
almost like we've almost become like family. I think like
Oh definitely, yeah, for sure.
yeah, like I did Christmas with
I
his
mean, you made me
my
do
brother.
this thing, so we're clearly quite close. So
yeah, and I wanted you to come on, like, this is the fifth episode. I wanted it to be a little bit after, so like got everything set up and shit, and like even though it didn't probably come across like that.
No,
at all
it's
being
very
on the show.
impressive. It's
Yeah.
it's the full works.
That's the full works. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna be moving into a studio soon, so stay tuned for that. For episode 6 possibly. That's how quickly I move when I have a stupid idea. But let's wrap it up then. I just wanted to give a huge shout out to our sponsor, SAD Collection. I'll probably be giving this guy his pick of the wardrobe as well. So if you see him walking around, say hi. Check out my socials in the description. That's S.AD Ventures on YouTube. YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. Should really be better at saying that. And do you have anything you want to plug, sir?
No, just get your sad ventures stuff, or don't, but do.
SAD Ventures, SAD Collection. Check us out. All right, peace.